So, welcome, Jyoti.
How did Osho come into your life? How did Osho catch you? And how did it come next?
I was living in Bombay in those days, and Osho used to come from Jabalpur. He was staying in Jabalpur. It is 1968.
Wow.
And he was coming to Bombay and traveling all around India. And I was interested in, it was my search. I was going to listen all types of gurus and reading all types of books also on religion and psychology, philosophy. So that way, this thirst was there. And one day, I suddenly saw a banner on the road, discourse by Acharya Rajneesh. And this name was totally new for me. And I said, oh, I want to go and listen to him also. So straight away, I went to listen to him. It was a big auditorium, like thousands of people there. And I went there. I heard his first discourse. We had no passes to enter in the hall. So we were told we can go second floor balcony and sit there. So my friend was with me. We both found a seat. And I tell you, there was so much noise in the hall. And suddenly it was pin drop silence. He appeared on the podium there. And I saw him from the very distance. He was wearing a kind of lungi and a shawl around the shoulders. And he just sat there and started speaking. His voice, I don't know what happened to me. My eyes got closed and his voice was just like I was drinking. It was going inside me. And I say my mind just disappeared. No thinking, just his voice echoing inside me. And I was so surprised. Some questions which were bothering me all the time, he was answering all those questions. Amazing. Anyhow, the discourse was over. And during the discourse, I got so much touched. As it is said, the heart gives the recognition. So my heart was like throbbing with joy and happiness. And I have found this master for whom I was searching. It was clear recognition. And so discourse was over. I come out of the hall and buy some books and start reading books. First night I was reading whole night. It was a feeling like I have found this precious treasure. This each word, each line, each para was feeling like so perfect in itself, his expression of saying things. And then I felt I want to meet him. So there was some number where they were printing some magazine in Bombay. I called there and they say, I said, I want to meet Acharya Rajneesh. And they say, you come to his camp. He's leading camp soon, meditation camp. He used to lead meditation camps. So straight away, I went to do his meditation camp. That's how my journey started.
Wow.
Was it in Mount Abu?
No, it was a place called Nargol near Surat in Gujarat. It was seashore. Very beautiful place. We have this little documentary, Rising Moon. There is a shot from this place.
Okay.
The trees are there. Yeah, it was very beautiful place. So I went to do this camp. I want to share my first experience. Camp opening happened in the evening. He gave one discourse. And something happened to me listening his discourse. Like everything inside was like some turmoil started. I couldn't understand what is happening to me. I can say it was a kind of like death experience, like he's pulling my breath out. It was something like that. I couldn't sleep all night. And next morning, again, there was discourse and announcement was there that we can ask any question. He will answer our questions. So somehow I put my experience in words and give away this paper. The person was there who was collecting questions from everybody. That time there was a small, like a makeshift podium. He came and sat on that. He used to sit cross-legged at the time. And all this bunch of papers were given to him. And he started reading and sorting out these questions. And when he started reading my question, I recognized my paper. And I was like, let me see where he keeps my paper. And reading my question, he started looking at the audience. From the left, he went like this, looking at everybody. And when his eyes came on me, it was like, she's the girl. And I was like, my God, how he came to know that it is my question. It was so clear because he didn't look further at all. And he put away the paper on one side. And he didn't answer. He didn't answer. After the discourse, everybody went ahead, and when he got up from his seat, people start touching him, holding his hands, and I'm very much afraid to go near him. Some fear was there inside. Finally, when I felt now he's leaving, I just rushed. I want to at least bow down to him. And I bow down, and then he said, you have written that question. And I knew what he's saying. And I said, yes, it was my question. And he said, okay, come and meet me in the afternoon. 2:00 was his meeting with people in the very first camp. So 2:00, there was some kind of fear. Fear has gripped me, like a fear of death, like I'm going to die if I go near it. It was something like that. And I went there, and there was quite a people. Line was there. So I relaxed. I'm not alone. Many people have come to meet me. So one by one, a person is sent in his room, and slowly line is moving forward. And a woman ahead of me went inside, and I just peeped from the window to see how to meet this person. And she went. I saw him sitting on a sofa, and this woman goes and sits near his feet on the carpet there, and goes down and start talking. I said, okay, this is the way. So when my turn came, I went in, and he just stretched his arms like this. And I forgot everything. I just came and hold his hands. And he made me sit on the sofa near him. He made me sit there. He held one of my hand, and with the other hand, he was rubbing my spine. Maybe just a couple of minutes. Slowly, he was like rubbing my spine, and everything settled down inside. Whatever was happening, some energy phenomena, everything settled, and I became like a normal person. Then he just asked me a few formal things. What are you doing? From where you have come? What's your name? And then he says, will you do my work? I don't know what his work is. No idea. And I said, yes, I will do your work. And then he called his secretary was there, and he told me, meet him and see what you can do. I very often come to Bombay, and you will get the information, and you can come and meet me whenever I'm here. That way, my journey started with my master.
Wow. Wow. It was still in Bombay, yeah?
Yeah. I was actually doing a job there. I was working.
I have this book of Satarji, and he tells about a place called Wonderland or Woodland, something like that. Yes. Was it there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what follows after that?
Well, after that, I started writing him letters. Whatever was happening inside, I was just writing him. What's going on? What is this? I'm feeling like meeting you again and again. I'm missing you. Things like that. And then he replied one of my letters telling me, okay, you come and meet me at this place. He wrote his phone number also. You can find out where I'm staying. So I had my first, again, another meeting with him in Bombay. And kind of, I'll say from my side, I felt like I want to be with him. I want to be near him. And I had not much difficulty in doing so. So I attended another camp, and then I got a chance to travel in the same train with him where he's going. And finally it ended up, I stayed with him in the same apartment. He used to stay as a guest in people's apartment in different cities he was traveling. So I got this, I will say, precious opportunity to be near him and take care of his small things, whatever is needed. And that way, it was a real joy. Attended many, many of his camps. And many of my friends joined also after me. I was sharing with them, and they also started coming to the camps. And then I should tell you how he started sannyas. He was staying in this apartment. Before moving to Woodland's apartment, another apartment was rented for him in a building called CCI Chambers. Okay, and it had 3 bedrooms. In 1 bedroom, about 8 people used to do dynamic every day in his apartment. Yeah. And he will come and see us what we are doing. Then I used to meet him every day. Before doing dynamic, I will go to his bedroom and always buy some flower to give him. And that way, it was a real joy for me to have this beautiful opportunity. And then there was a camp in Manali, place called Manali, in 1970, September 1970. And he said, you are coming to the camp. I said, yes. Then he said, Ma Yo Lakshmi has been appointed his secretary at that time. And she had started wearing this orange lungi and a kind of kurta. She was wearing this. And he said, do you like Lakshmi's dress? I said, yeah, it looks good on her. Make a dress like this, he said, to take to the camp. And I said, okay. I was wearing my normal clothes, what we wear in society, going to office and all this. Then whenever I met him, did you make your this lungi kurta or a lungi kurta? And I was saying, oh, still there's time, I'll make it. And one day I went to see him in his room. He had this whole pile of cloth, of orange cloth. And he said, cut how many meters you need for this dress. And make sure you bring this dress with you. Okay. So I got this dress done. Not knowing what his plan is. He didn't talk about sannyas at all. So I went to Manali camp. First day I didn't wear this dress. And then he said, what happened to that dress? Why did you wear it? I said, okay, tomorrow morning I'm going to wear it. So tomorrow morning, before discourse, put that orange dress on. It was a kind of lungi and a kurta, very funny thing for a woman to wear in Bombay like that. And I went to see him in his room to show him, okay, I have come in this dress. And he came out of the bathroom and he looked at me and he said, wow, this dress looks very good on you. And my friend was with me, Veena. And he says, Veena, what new name we should give her? And I was like, new name for what? We didn't talk about anything, new name. And Veena, she says it came spontaneously from her mouth, Jyoti. And he said, yeah, that's good name, but it's not full. Okay, your name is Ma Dharm Jyoti. He said it. And I was just laughing, like what joke is going on? And he said, Dharma means religion, right? And she will spread my Dharma. Dharma Jyoti, she will spread my Dharma. And I was just laughing, making some joke or what.
Wow,
And
wow.
2 days I put that dress on. 3rd day I washed it. And again I came in my normal clothes. And he called me, what happened to this dress? Why did you change? Only one dress. I washed it and it's still not dry. It was cold there. And that day he called a meeting in the evening. It was 28th September and he talked about this neo-sannyas movement. And mainly his message was, my sannyasins will not renounce their life. They have to stay at their home, they have to do their work, they should be financially independent, not depending on anybody for their food and stay. He gave that talk and I tell you, I couldn't digest all this. How I can go in the office in these clothes? How can I move in the society? And those days he was so notorious. He's already known as sex guru. And we have to wear his mala with his locket, which means we have to expose ourselves that we are his disciples. He's our master. And then I talked to him. I said, it's difficult for me. So he started Kirtan Mandali from there also. One group of sannyasins were told that they will travel from town to town and do kirtan, singing and dancing on the streets. And he said, okay, so you don't go home, just join the Kirtan Mandali. And which was more difficult for me to do that. It's not my type, actually. What you want to do, you decide for yourself.
I just want to ask you something.
Yeah.
I didn't get the whole meaning of your name. It's Dharm is religion and Jyoti?
Jyoti means flame.
Flame.
Like a
fire.
Flame of the yeah, flame. Yeah.
Yes,
And how old was you in that time?
I was when I met him, I was 26. Sannyas happened in 28.
Okay.
Yeah, after 2 years. So I decided, okay, it's only my mind is feeling fearful. I will face whatever happens. So I went home back in orange clothes and mala. And the best thing was, in those days, we were meeting him almost every day. So, yes. So it was like he was encouraging us, telling him every day some story, what people are passing remarks on us, things like that. And he will make joke of everything. And said, don't take anything seriously, just laugh. One time I told him I'm standing at the bus stop and this double-decker bus passes by and boy is sitting up in the bus, throwing flying kisses. And it's so awkward situation. People are all standing and boys are doing it. He said, you just gave them flying blessings. What is wrong in it? Just give them flying blessings. So he used to make us feel very light. Don't take anything seriously. Be playful. That way, I tell you, it was also a kind of a device for our meditation. When you are walking, everybody is looking at you. Yeah, you are like different from everybody.
Mhm.
So that means you can't doze off. You have to be totally aware. Everybody is watching you. So this awareness, process of awareness started happening.
Wow.
And it was also a kind of like, we became like a walking advertisement for publicity. Everybody asking, what is this? Whose mala is this? Things like that.
Mhm.
So our master is great. He used every
Yes.
opportunity.
Yes.
Jyoti, how was it relating to your family and friends about you going to Osho's world?
Yeah. In my family, my father was, I will tell you here, he was very rare type of father. He gave full freedom to the children. Do what you
Wow.
feel like to do. He never controlled us. And from the very childhood, in name of religion, nothing was imposed on us. So we were like clean children, not going to temples or doing some rituals. There were no rituals at home at all.
Okay.
So that way, from very childhood, I lived a very free life. And I lived the way I wanted to live. There was nobody to say, what are you doing? Even when I went to home with orange clothes and mala, they were, of course, surprised. Disciple of Osho, listening him. My father used to listen him. I used to play discourse at home. He will listen it. So I said, okay, I have taken sannyas. And he was totally fine with it. But every day he will come with a story in the evening because we were living in society and people will tell him different things about me, what your daughter is doing, what type of clothes she is wearing. But he was very blunt in answering everyone. And he will tell me, oh, somebody told like this and I told like this. It was a kind of support from my father. One time, in those days, friends from abroad started coming to Bombay. And Ma Lakshmi asked me if I can make some arrangements for them to stay somewhere. So my father had an apartment which was totally empty. Just possession is given for that apartment. It belongs to us. So I told Lakshmi Ma, apartment is there. I can make arrangements for their sleep. We can arrange mattresses and everything. And maybe we can arrange, they can make our tea in the morning, but there is nothing more. And she says, this is more than enough. So this whole group of young, I will say boys and girls, in those days, a lot of hippies were coming to Bombay in 70s. And they were like hippie type people. So I asked my father, he said, great, they can stay in our apartment, no problem. So I take them there, they stay there. And then the secretary of that society calls my father. Who are these people you have kept in your apartment? Because neighbors are complaining. There were buildings opposite each other. So opposite building neighbors are saying, these people are naked in their home. They walk just naked. They don't wear clothes. So my father was called.
Too much freedom. Too much freedom.
Who are these people? And this is the complaint. So at least put curtains on your windows. So my father tell these people to put their curtains. Why they are peeping in our apartment. We are not going to put curtains. We should keep their windows shut. So he was like that.
70s was a great decade.
He gave me total freedom. Wherever I wanted to go, We don't need to take permission from him. We'll just pack our bag and say, okay, I'm going tomorrow. That's it. So I lived the life, very beautiful life. And mainly I was financially independent. I was not depending on father or anybody. That makes a lot of difference. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. And this went on for how many years? Then after that, Pune, yeah?
Yeah. Then in 74, Osho said, lot of people are on the way and you people have to find a bigger place for me. Many people are coming. So finally, this one bungalow in 17 Koregaon Park, Lausu House, one bungalow was purchased, and it was 21st March 74. Osho in a car started going to Pune. So I joined with friends in another car because I felt like, now what's the point of staying in Bombay? I will stay in Pune now. So I went there, and 2 days I was in Pune, and then he called me and he asked me, when you are going back to Bombay? I said, I'm not going to go back. I'll stay in Pune only. And then he really, I'll say, explained me, no, you don't have, you have any problem there? I said, I have no problem. So he said, stay at your home. And he wrote a name of the center for me. You can run the center, whatever I will speak here, that recording will be reached to you by next day. So do my work in Bombay and continue your job. No need to resign now. So that way I stayed 5 years in Bombay. I moved to Pune in 79. He told me when the right time will come, I will invite you to Pune. So in 79, March, 21st March festival, I went for 4 days only. And Lakshmi called me in the office and she said, I have a message for you. Osho says, now you are not going back to Bombay. And I was like, oh my God, I was waiting for this message all these years.
5 years.
And I really didn't go back. I was on 4 days leave. I stayed 6 months and sending medical certificate to my office. I'm sick, I'm not coming. That way, 6 months I was there, and I had such a great time sitting with him every day. And he has started Energy Darshan. Outsiders were not allowed for Energy Darshan. I became like an insider, started working there. So 1 year, I was like, that was the very precious time for me, staying in Pune for 1 year before he left to America. And from there only, after 6 months, I sent resignation to my office. I didn't went back there. And that was a wise step I did, really. I felt relieved. Yeah.
Then you went to the ranch too?
Yes, I went to the ranch also. Yeah. Everybody was getting message, now you go on your own. When Osho left for America, and I was waiting for my message. Okay, if I get the message, I'll just go to my home back. And I was called in the office and I was told, you are not going anywhere. You have to help here. I was working in accounts department. So you have to help in closing down the accounts. And after that, you can go to ranch. So I stayed there and finally time came and I arrived in the ranch after 1 year. And I stayed there all the time. When Osho came back to India, I came after 1 month. Again, we have to close down everything there before we leave. So life was very beautiful with him. I have no regrets. I have lived my life the way I wanted to live. Then I went straight to meet him in Manali. And he just was curious to know after he left how it was doing there. I informed him. And then he said, now you go back to Pune and help there in Pune commune. And,
This you mean Pune too?
yeah,
Pune too
no,
time.
Pune started after he came back from world tour.
Ah, okay,
So,
okay. I'm a bit lost in time. No.
And
Now
from
you.
Italy went to Nepal and then Greece and whole world tour started. Yeah.
Yes, I have this book about
Again,
the world too.
yeah, we
And
were just looking at the news every day from which country is deported. Every time there was deported
yes,
from here, deported from there.
Crazy,
And
very
we
crazy.
were just waiting like when he's coming back to India.
so you said, Jyoti, that you went to America to the ranch. How was your experience there? How long did you stay there? How was it for you? The whole thing, the big
When
city.
I arrived again there also, I was put to work in accounts department, which was indoor work in the office. And we were busy in our work. 12 hours we were working, mornings, I think from 7 to 7 we were working. And I tell you, I was totally in ignorance, blissful. I didn't know what is going on. I had no idea. Till Osho spoke about it, I had no idea what is going on. We were just enjoying everything every day, having his darshan at drive-by, and then celebrations. He started speaking in his house, and we were watching video every day in Mandir. So it was a kind of, I'll say, like explosion of energy there. People had so much energy. I used to climb mountains like, I can't believe how I was doing it. It was like a totally energy phenomena. People working so much, and then they go for disco and dance, and everything was going on. And people were really very happy that they are here. We had a kind of like we are building our own city. So that idea was there, and everybody was putting their energy in it. And it was all the love for the master, people were doing it. So I won't say that I suffered at the Raj. For me, Raj was a beautiful place to be there. And everyone so much healthy, such a fresh air, such a good food, organic vegetables. We had our own vegetables. So in a way, life was, we were living in abundance. Life was very rich there.
In all kind of things, abundance in.
And then suddenly this all these things came out after Sheila left. And I couldn't believe like this was going on, and we had no idea. There was a lot of anger and from outside society, all politicians and priests were against. He was talking so bluntly, telling in his discourses, come and handcuff me, put me in the chair. But he was telling like very fearlessly what he wanted to say. He didn't compromise anything with to keep the truth under carpet. No, he was like a lion roaring. Yeah.
Yes.
And the result was, he got arrested. He was happy to come back to India. He was very happy to come back.
Did you stay at the ranch until the end of the commune there, or you left before?
I left 1 month after Osho came to India.
Wow.
To India first, in Bombay?
I landed in Delhi and went to meet him in Manali, where he was there at that time. Yeah. I met him there in Manali. He wanted to know what was going on after he left. I gave him all the news. Many people were really freaking out, you know.
Yes, that was beautiful. And we just followed the whole world tour of Osho, yeah? As you said, he was thrown out of every country, yeah. I've seen Osho first time in Bombay in 86. He was at a friend's house. That was the first time I saw him physically, personally, yeah. And was amazing, yeah. What happened to me next? When I
I
came
was
back.
there all the 5 months when he was in Bombay. Actually, when he was on world tour, at some point I felt like I was not happy in the commune. So I left the commune. And I feel like I want to travel a little bit up in Himalayas. So I started traveling for 2 months, and then suddenly this urge came. Now it's time to go back to Bombay. And I came back to Bombay middle of July. And I called this man, Suraj Prakash, in his house, Osho State. I just called him, just like an intuition, you know. And he said, "You come and meet personally. I have to tell you something." So I went, and he told me Osho is coming back and he will be here in this house. He has a beautiful bungalow. And he said, "We have kept it very secret, but we need some help from some sannyasins to clean up the whole house." So I was told, so I helped in cleaning. And then this date came when Osho arrived in Mumbai. I was there. We 3-4 friends, sannyasins were there to receive him. And 3-4 people went to airport. And when his car arrived in this bungalow, I tell you, it was such a joy. Oh, he's back now. And I opened his door of the car. He came out. I said, "Bhagwan, welcome to India." And he just patted my hand and said, "How are you, Jyoti?" I said, "I'm fine." So after that, all the 5 months I was in Sumila, and I got this opportunity. I was given the work to clean his space, the bathroom and his room. When he was in bathroom, I'll clean his room, and he's in room, I will go and clean his bathroom. Yeah, it was beautiful there. And every day he was speaking also. Space was very limited. People can't come every day to listen. After 4 or 5 days, their turn will come. But we who were there, team of kind of workers, we were there every day listening. And then he went to Pune, and I'm again back to Pune. So this journey went on with the master. Pune were very intense, I tell you. He knew that he had very limited time. So he was like speaking and speaking, morning, evening, kind of like giving finishing touches to his painting, actually. And last year he spoke on Zen, and in Pune. Then when he heard that people are finding it difficult to get visas to come to India, he said, "Go underground, drop this orange clothes and mala if it bring you problem to get visa." So that way, he said, "Drop it." And then after a while, again, he suggested wear maroon robe. Everybody in the commune wear maroon robe. White robe started nearly 6 months before. All these years, if I look back and see, he was preparing us. He was withdrawing his energy. And if you have heard his last discourses, where he was leading gibberish after discourse, all the time saying, go in, you are not the body, not the mind, go in."
Yes.
So that was really a preparation for all of us. Now be on your own. You are the Buddha. You are the Buddha.
Yes. I was there in Pune from
You were
88. Yes, from April 88 until he left his body. I was there. So you were living at the commune at the time, at the ashram?
In the commune, I was
Yes.
living in Francis' house, called Francis' house, where Osho's mother was staying. I got a room next to her. There was a door in between. I was kept there. Osho said, you take care of my mother. So I
Wow.
was, this was also a beautiful time to be with his mother. Yeah. His mother was so innocent, like childlike. He said in one of the discourses, my mother is so innocent. She's enlightened and she doesn't know she's enlightened.
You know,
I was there when his mother left the body. I was there. Yeah. I saw him, how she was totally aware when she left the body with total awareness. Yeah.
this Francis house was behind Bodhidharma Tea Garden,
Right.
right?
Bodhi.
Yes, I worked in Bodhidharma for 9 months, something like that.
Okay.
And
There was
you,
a kind of bamboo grove after
yeah,
my room entrance, bamboo grove, and there used to be chairs. We used to sit there. Beautiful place. Yeah.
you know what I remember from Mataji is going to Kundalini, and
Kundalini
yes,
was
she
beautiful.
used to brought a chair, yeah, with her, yeah, to bring
When
a chair.
Osho heard that she's going for Kundalini, he sent her the message, you don't need to do Kundalini anymore. Then she stopped.
Oh, that was beautiful. And this, like you said, first gibberish, and then the white robe part that he was already in silence. Yeah. And you know what I remember also, you talked about Zen. He was talking about Zen. There was last talks, yeah.
Last days he gave us these three groups he called meditative therapy groups, Mystic Rose, No Mind, and Born Again. Three groups he gave. Yeah.
You were leading Mystic Rose,
Mystic Rose.
recently?
When I was there in Pune, I got invited in Multiversity to have training in Mystic Rose. So I was certified that I can lead the Mystic Rose. And from 95, Osho left body in 90. I was in commune for 10 years more, till 2000. From 95 onwards, I started leading meditation camps in India. I was called in the office and said, now you share what you have learned from Osho. So I felt, okay, it's time. So I traveled a lot in India. During that time, I had this Mystic Rose training also. And Osho Dham was there already. I used to go there for leading meditation camp also. And in 2000, this strong feeling was there. Now it's time to move out of the commune. Of course, things were changing, and I was not comfortable with it. So I said, okay, it's time for me. I've lived many years in the commune. Now let me live in my own freedom, the way I want to live. So I moved out, and then I got invited in Osho Dham. Why don't you come and stay in Osho Dham? Don't you like it? It's very beautiful place.
Where is it?
Osho Dham is very beautiful place outside Delhi. Actually, it is a farmland. Lots of trees and beautiful meditation hall and accommodation for 200 people. So we do a lot of programs there, other programs also. And coming to Osho Dham, I felt this is the right place. I can do Mystic Rose here. Yeah.
That's where you are now.
Yeah,
Right
I
now.
live in
Yes.
Osho Dham.
How do you spell it? The name Dharm? It's the same.
Osho Dham, Dham. Dham. Dham means city of Osho. Town of
Okay.
Osho. And one thing happened as I moved out of the commune, because I lived so many years in the commune. I had friends all over the world, sannyasins. When they heard I'm out now, I started getting invitations from everybody. Oh, now you are free. Come here, come here. And a new phase started in my life. I traveled a lot outside of India. Russia, I went 10 times every year.
Wow.
Even Muslim countries, Uzbekistan, Tashkent, and then Europe. 2 times I went to America also after that, touring in America. There are many centers there. So I traveled and I went Japan, I went Australia. Whosoever invited me, I went. I went to Greece also.
You must come to Brazil.
Yes.
Now you must come to Brazil.
I tell you what he said, will you work for me? He was doing all this mischief that time. Like if I look on my own, it's not possible. How all these embassies were giving visas and everything was so smooth. And at that time, I had this energy also. Energy and this kind of, you are very much in, okay, it's time to share, it's time to share. That when I was in commune in 95, I wrote this little book about my experiences.
Wow.
Maybe
about it. How can we get your book?
You can, it is in Amazon also.
Amazon, okay.
100 Tales for 10,000 Buddhas. I have written like a narrative stories when I was near them. It is kind of narrative stories.
Wow.
So this book, I don't know, I didn't knew I'm writing a book, but somehow it got together and finally it got published. And I was amazed because I had no idea. People started translating in different, first of all, Japanese published it in Japanese, and then Russian language, Chinese language. I went to Taiwan also. This publisher, Chandana, published my book in China, and then in French, in India, all the languages. So this book really made me very famous.
Oh.
People started giving me so much feedback. Like this book is like we did the journey with the master. And this book I have written like a present tense, like it's happening now. I won't say it just happened through me. That's the story of the book.
This is, the first thing when we finish this interview is I'm gonna get your book.
Yes.
You can't find out, write me your address, I'll mail it to you.
Yeah, so thank you. But you said in Amazon we can get it. Yeah. I just would miss your autograph. Yeah. On the book.
And on the base of these stories in the book, when it was lockdown here, we few sannyasins were in Osho Dham, and just in fun we started. They're telling me, tell a story from your book, and we shoot it with a mobile phone. They were shooted it. So started in a very playful way, and finally it came up. Now I have my YouTube channel. And all these, like almost 50 stories are already published on the YouTube channel. And
yes, that's great. Yes, and you really
of my YouTube channel, right?
Just
yes,
yes, we've seen it. We've seen it, and you're really doing his job. Yeah, his work.
Yes, life is fun, really. Life is fun.
How Jyoti, how do you feel Osho's work today?
For me, Osho's not gone. His energy, his presence is so strong here. When we meditate, I'm just taken away. But I don't miss him at all. In silence, I feel possessed by his energy. He's possessing us.
Yes.
And many new people are coming. In India, many new people, especially youngsters, are getting connected with Osho. And they come to meditation camps. And so many people just want to take sannyas also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sannyas is going on.
We feel absolutely.
Master is at his work still.
Yes,
And
we feel
of
the
course,
same.
he has to choose some sannyasins to be his mediums and do his work.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, Jyoti, when I was that time in Bombay, I wrote him a question about he leaving his body, that would be possible for me to have another master in his place. And he said to me, "You're going to find me in your very heartbeat."
Yes,
And his answer was published everywhere on this Osho Times, talking about his funeral. My question was there, the full page.
which series of the lectures was that, where your question was?
Beyond Enlightenment.
Beyond Enlightenment. Okay, I'll
This
find
was,
out and read it.
that's
I was
the,
there, but I want to read again.
yes, I think it's the 11th talk.
11th number.
Yeah, the question starts like the fruit falls from the tree when it's ripe.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's the beginning of my question. It was, wow, I listened every day until today. It's always, I listen differently, this answer.
Yes. Nowadays, I listen his discourse every day. It's a nourishment for me. It's nourishment for me.
You tell me, I've searched for Osho's video discourse on osho.com and I didn't find.
We have all his videos on hard disk now. If you are
Oh,
interested,
yes,
we
that's
can
great.
mail you the hard disk. You will get all the videos, all the videos.
When I hear Nilan talk about Osho signatures disappeared, and wow, I was so shocked when I hear this.
Yes.
And I've seen the originals in Japan, in Gata Sansa's Unity Place. Yes, I've seen it. He just showed us. He put all these books open on a table, and we are not allowed to touch it, but just to see. It was like the painting were coming out so strong. I was so touched by it.
These were the prints or original prints?
The originals, the originals.
Originals with Gata
Originals.
Sansa.
Yes,
Really?
he had the books, original books with him at the Unity, and he opened the books on the table and just showed us, because he was making the paintings on a frames. He was selling it. I think it was some arrangement with Pune that time.
Okay.
It
I know
was
Gata Sansa.
90. You know
I know
Gata
him.
Sansa? Yes. I tried to interview
In
him, but
Japan, I met him also.
yeah, that's good. If you have his telephone also would be great, because I couldn't reach him. I know him, but I couldn't reach him. I want to ask him to talk to us too. So, Jyoti, maybe another day we do another part of this, but for now I think it's okay.
It's okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
it was
would
a
like.
joy to see both of you and talk to you. It was.
Yes, for us too.
Thank
Very
you.
precious, very, very, very precious. Thank you so much.
Thank you, beloved.
Thank you very much. Bye.